Hello class, my name is Kenya. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a senior at Portland State University, majoring in Spanish and getting a certificate in Chicano Latino Studies. I decided to do my research in Rigoberta Menchú. She is an indigenous feminist and activist from Guatemala. So, Rigoberta Menchú was born on January 9th of 1959. She grew up in the Quiché branch of the Mayan culture. As a child, she would help work the family farm, and they would also work in other plantations as well, picking coffee and other fruits. As a teenager, she was soon involved with the women's rights movement through the Catholic Church. During the Civil War from 1960 to 1996, which in fact was also started by the United States and the CIA over a fruit corporation. So during that time, the Guatemalan government declared the indigenous Guatemalan people enemies of the country, and horrible acts of genocide were committed against them because of this. So during this time, there was a guerrilla base established near the Menchú family, and they were soon accused of taking part in a guerrilla activities. Her father, Vicente, was kidnapped, imprisoned, and tortured for allegedly having participated in an execution of a local plantation owner. After his release, he joined the Committee of the Peasant Union, or CUC. Soon after, Rigoberta also joined in 1979. So unfortunately, the following year, in 1978, she lost her father, her brother, and her mother when they were arrested, tortured, and killed. Menchú taught herself Spanish and other Mayan languages. She joined different organizations to educate indigenous Guatemalans about their human rights in resistance to military oppression. So in 1981, Rigoberta had to go into hiding, and she fled to Mexico, where this was a new phase of her life and many things she did after this. So in 1982, she took part in founding the United Representation of the Guatemalan Opposition, or I think these are the acronyms in Spanish, RUOG. Many articles stated that she became largely recognized through her translated book, I Rigoberta Menchú, in 1983. In her writing, she tells her story as an indigenous woman in Guatemala during the Civil War, and she details the murders of her brother and her mother. In 1992, she received the Nobel Prize for Peace for her continuing efforts to achieve social justice and mutual reconciliation in her country. In 2007, she created the Indian-led political movement called WINAC. It's a Mayan word that means the wholeness of the human being. That same year, she ran for president of Guatemala, receiving less than 3% of the votes. It didn't stop her there, because in 2011, she ran again, but was unsuccessful as well. Rigoberta Menchú currently lives in Mexico, still working towards social justice in her country and her indigenous people. So the quote that I found more interesting, or that spoke to me the most, was, this world's not going to change unless we are willing to change ourselves. And I think this is real, because she demonstrated it herself. She taught herself other languages so she could communicate and be heard as a marginalized minority in her country, or any other country. For me, this quote is saying that humanity is pretty messed up, and we are not willing, and if we are not willing to change our greed for power and money, the world would stay as corrupt and unfair as it is right now. So yeah. And the last thing what I want to gain from this class, it's just knowledge. I wanna learn about empowered Latinas in our community, and I'm very excited for that too. So yeah, that concludes my presentation, my introduction. Thank you all for listening.